small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Rankum. This is going to be a fun one today. We're talking about top 12 movie soundtracks for the 2000s. So it's one of those ones, like, whether it's like a soundtrack full of well-known songs or it's the actual score, they both count because you could both on a soundtrack or both were released. So it's like they're both eligible for this, so it's going to be fun to see what people come up with. But my panel here today, we've got Steve here. Steve, how's it going?
It's going great. Happy WrestlePalooza to everybody, every wrestling fan that's celebrating today. Happy AEW All Out Day and happy Saturday. And we're just having fun talking about movie soundtracks. I know I'm definitely going to bring up a couple obscure movies that you wouldn't consider as great movie soundtracks, but I'm looking forward to see what everybody has on their docket in terms of what their picks are for today.
Zach, we've also got here is how are you going?
Good, yeah. So I'm not really like big on movie soundtracks in terms of like knowing the best ones, but I thought it was interesting to be brought on, and I have a good sized list, so it interesting to see how many we share. So
yeah. But with that, how Rankum works is we each go around and nominate a soundtrack we think belongs on a top 12 movie soundtracks of all time, of the 2000s rather, and then everyone else say yes or no to it. Should be fairly quick for any free people on the panel. Steve, what is the first soundtrack you're going to bring up?
Well, this particular soundtrack is basically was around when I went to high school in 2001, and it's the American Pie 2 soundtrack. I give you Hash Pipe by Weezer, Everywhere from Michelle Branch, Smooth Criminal by Alien and Farm, Want You Bad from The Offspring, In Too Deep and Fat Lip from Sum 41, and Be Like That from Three Doors Down. Not only that, but there's also songs from Newfound Glory, Blink 182, Lit, Green Day, and Uncle Cracker. Now, if this doesn't summarize 2001 in a nutshell, I don't know what does. But this is a banger of a soundtrack. The movie, not so bad. I like it actually. I think it's an underrated comedy sequel, but I think the soundtrack is a lot better than the movie itself.
Zach, what do you say about the soundtrack to American Pie 2?
So I don't have it on my list because I haven't listened to the soundtrack. I'm not as big of a fan of the movie as you are, Steve, but I'm going to give it a slight yes just because of what you said about if this doesn't encapsulate 2001, then what does? So I'll give it a slight yes.
Yeah, so I'm a big American Pie 2 fan. But
yeah, baby.
But I didn't care for the soundtrack of American Pie 2. The soundtrack for the first one, even though it didn't come out, the first movie wasn't 2000s, is better. This did have some recognizable bands in there. The songs were not the recognizable from those bands, so it's like, so I would have gone a slight no, but it's going to make the list anyway. But Zach, we're going to go to you next. What is your next?
So I'm going to bring up a soundtrack that actually I was listening to today from one of my favorite animated films, Princess and the Frog. I think it has the songs that have meaning behind them, but also it becomes a character in itself, and especially with that New Orleans jazz style, it definitely brings you into that atmosphere. So I'm going to bring up Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, this was absolutely on my list as well. Like, I love Princess and the Frog. I think it's great, and I think the songs are really good on this. This is there is an anime movie I've got higher than this, which I'm pretty sure is probably going to come up at some stage anyway. But this is great. And yeah, I think it definitely deserves to be in the top 12. Steve, what would you have said about Princess and the Frog?
I would have said that I have never seen the movie. I am aware of the soundtrack. I am aware of on the other side, but like I can't be a fair judge about this movie. Like if I did watch it, I probably said yes to it, but like to not be able to watch the movie, I can't really say too much on it.
But for my first one, I'm going to bring up. I'm going to bring up this one because for those that know me, know I'm a big Johnny Cash fan, and I think I really like Walk the Line. I think Walk the Line is a fantastic biopic, and Joaquin Phoenix did a great job singing Johnny Cash's songs, and I think makes Walk the Line, etc. I think very good, and yeah, I think it's one of those ones that I personally listen to a lot. Like I've got a lot of songs on my Spotify. There's like rotates through. Like I always try and make sure I get a Johnny Cash song in somewhere. But Steve, what do you say about Walk the Line?
Yes, it's actually on my list. Walk the Line is on my list, and now it's not on the top tier of my list, but definitely for the fact that it's actually you mentioned it. This was at a time where I graduated. It was a year graduating after high school that I really got into Johnny Cash, and it was because of this movie that I really enjoyed it. And it's just the fact that there was just a whole bunch of stuff that's happening leading up to the release of Walk the Line. And we're talking about AE biography. We had a whole bunch of retrospectives, interviews on 60 Minute, on CBS Sunday Morning at the time. And this movie, it's good. And also Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon, who would have thunk that they'd almost match almost no for Johnny Cash and June Carter. Yeah, it's a really good soundtrack, and I'm glad that it's mentioned. If you didn't mention, I probably mentioned eventually. So yeah, definitely deserves to be on here.
Zach, what do you say about Walk the Line?
Yeah, as far as the movie, I've seen it. It's been a while, but I don't mind Johnny Cash. I don't listen to him as much as like other people, but I don't mind putting it on the list. So yeah, let's say yes.
That Walk the Line is going to make the list. Steve, we go back to you. What is your first nomination?
My next nomination is the soundtrack for Kill Bill Volume 1. Just the fact that this movie is not only a classic, but the soundtrack is just as classic, because you can't really you think when you think of certain scenes, there are songs from the soundtrack that you remember, and not only just remember from the song, but also remember from the scene. You have Bang Bang from Nancy Sinatra in the opening, where the opening credits. You have Ironside. Every time she sees red, it's Ironside from Quincy Jones. You have Twisted Nerve, the Bernard Herrmann score that is whistled by L. Driver. You have Green Hornet, The Lonely Shepherd, Woohoo's by the 5, 6, 7, 8. Battle Without Honor and Humanity is basically the Kill Bill song. And then my favorite is Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood in that showdown with Lucy Liu. So I definitely think not only is this is a banger of a movie, but this is also a banger of a soundtrack. Kill Bill Volume 1.
Zach, what do you say about Kill Bill Volume 1?
It's a definite, because this is one of the ones on my list. So I really like this movie, and I kind of agree. There are certain songs that when you hear it, you know what scene it's referring to. So it's a definite yes from me.
Yeah, this is. I also had this as well. Like, that's for pretty much all the reasons that like everyone said. Like, I think the soundtrack is great, and this is one of those ones where like it doesn't matter too much that the songs are not overly recognizable, because that's a lot of Tarantino's movies. Like he doesn't go for a lot of the popular songs anyway, but it's also the score as well. Is like, because this is the score plus the songs that they play as well. So you've got a lot of good stuff in here. Like, and like every now and then I will listen to a score from a movie as opposed to an actual song to sing along to. But Kill Bill Volume 1 is going to make the list. Zach, we go back to you.
I'm going to go to another one that is pretty much only score, but it it has my favorite song of all time, and it brings songs that get you kind of pumped. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. So that is the one I am throwing out there.
Yeah. I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I think it's just fantastic. When I was at work, actually, funny enough, was I always put my Spotify on stuff because I don't know what comes on. So it's like, and Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, that score came up as like, and that was just so it just put me in a good mood, like while I was cleaning up after a busy night. But yeah, it's an easy yes for me for Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of Black Pearl. Steve, what do you say about Curse of Black Pearl?
I mean, I do get it at the like, you know, this is our first score that we're putting here on our list too. So let's just note that Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl is one of our first picks for to be score. I say yes, but the thing of it is I just say slight yes because just that theme is just in encompassing and just swooping. It just reminds you of epic. Like if you think of epicness, that just you just play Jack Sparrow's song. It's just that's it. So I think if we get recognizable scores, especially that song in particular, I think it probably definitely deserves to be on here.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll disagree with you slightly. It's like I don't like. I think all the score like tracks from this is recognizable. It's not just Jack Sparrow personally.
All right.
But for my first one, I'm gonna go for one that if you were to say to me like last year that well, I can't remember when the first time I saw this movie was actually, but that I was going to like a movie based on centered around like folk music and all that. I would say you're crazy, but it's like I think the score for "Oh Brother We're Out Now" is great. Like I really enjoyed that style of music a lot, and it's something that I've kind of come to realize recently. And even like the original stuff, like the Iron Man of Constant Sorrow and all that, like the ones that are about like the Soggy Bottom Boys, and I think it's but I think it's the song and there's like all that great sort of like jazzy folk songs. I think is great in this movie, and I think it makes the score great just as at the same time. But Steve, what do you say about "Oh Brother We're Out There"?
So I've only seen this movie once, and I know we talked about the Coen brothers. Was it last week? I think it was last week, right? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. So we talked about now I've only seen it once. Now the only one that I know is "The Man of Constant Sorrow," and the music and the song where the musers are talking to John Turturro. Other than that, I don't particularly remember any scores or any songs other than that. So I'm going to give it a slight no.
Zach, what do you say about "Oh Brother We're Out There"?
Yeah, I've seen the movie once. I was not a fan of it, but I'm willing to give it another chance. The only thing I remember from that is "A Man of Constant Sorrow." I know nothing else. I don't remember anything else from that movie. So I'm also going to give it a slight no.
That's not going to make the list. Steve, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
My next nomination is basically a soundtrack that covers all the aspects of a group's discography, the Beatles, across the universe. Across the universe, I really dug across the movie and the soundtrack, and I've been a Beatles fan since high school. So like the fact that they were able to interpret a lot of the lyrics of the Beatles and basically to be able to like reinterpret it onto the big screen, it's just amazing. It's a great movie. it's an amazing movie to watch because of the visuals and just great soundtrack. It's top to bottom. Anything you know about any Beatles song, it's in there, including in different interpretations from Evan Rachel Wood, Jim Sturgis, Joe Anderson, Selma Hayek, Bono, Eddie Izzard, a whole bunch of people that are in this movie. We have Joe Crocker singing "Come Together." I mean, to have Joe Crocker to be able to sing "Come Together" for the Beatles, I think it's probably one of the standouts in the soundtrack. So I'm going to see what everybody else says about Across the Universe.
Zach, what do you say about Across the Universe?
Okay, I'm mixed on this one because I think the movie is good, and like I like the Beatles, but I don't love the Beatles. So I might still put it through, but only like a slight yes. It's not overarching yes. So
yeah, this is one that I didn't think about myself. Partly because like this movie is very underrated and it doesn't get talked about a lot. Anyway, but I'm just scrolling through the various lists that I can find online just to see what I can find. But yeah, I think the soundtrack in this is great. I think like everyone they got to sort of do a Beatles song in this, I think is fantastic. And so it's going to be an easy yes for me. Zach, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
So many to choose from. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to throw this out because I don't know how it's going to be because of the musical aspect of it. I'm going to bring up Hairspray. I know it was a movie, then it was a musical, then a movie again. But I really enjoy the soundtrack. I really like the 60s aspect that it brings, and it has those love songs. It has those upbeat songs. So I'm going to shoot my shot for Hairspray.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, we already sort of talked about a musical in the line of Princess and the Frog, to be fair. And even Across the Universe, to a lesser extent, is a musical as well. So, but Hairspray, I think, is fantastic. Like, I love it a lot, and it's one of those ones I'll go back to every now and then. And I think like the person that they got to play Tracy Turnblad, Nikki Blonsky was great. I think and it's one of those ones like this is the first time I realised that Christopher Walken could sing. Because I hadn't really known him to be a singer before, and yeah, so it's going to be an easy yes for me. Steve, what do you say about Hairspray?
I'm going to say yes because my sister bought the soundtrack and she was a big fan of it, so I'll say yes.
That Hairspray is going to make the list. And it's back to me, and I'm going to bring up the animated movie I was referring to earlier, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be an all-star. And I'm obviously talking about Shrek. This is whether it's the Proclaimers, or All Star, and it's just got a lot of great songs that they could get in there. Like you've got Daydream, like you've got Unbelievable, performed by Smash Mouth, and then you got Bad Reputation is there, and briefly as well. And I think the soundtrack, especially for a kids movie, it's surprisingly like really good, and a lot of the kids wouldn't really know a lot of those songs, but it's like the parents watching is like, I know that song. But Steve, what do you say about Shrek?
That would have been my animated pick eventually when we get down to me, but like yes, Shrek is definitely a soundtrack that it reverberates. I think it's a soundtrack that actually changed animation, in my opinion. Because if we didn't have Smash Mouth on on this soundtrack, I think we wouldn't have like other future down the line, people rock songs more predominantly featured in animation, whether it's Rob Thomas for Meet the Robinsons, or whether it's the all star band to tribute to rock in the second Trolls movie. So yeah, I think Shrek definitely deserves to be on this list.
Zach, what do you say about Shrek?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes as well, because I have this, and I actually had the sequel on my list, but since they're both on my list, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, and I also was like around. It's funny, it's like around this time, like All Star from Smash Mouth was in about 3 different movies around the same time. It was also in Rat Race, which was around this time as well. But Steve, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
All right. This is the one I'm going to probably give a shot at here. I'm going to go with Hustle and Flow. I really dug Hustle and Flow. Not only the movie, but the soundtrack. Dude, I even have, I have it somewhere around here. I definitely have the soundtrack somewhere around here as a CD. The fact that 3-6 Mafia, first rap group to win the Oscar for Best Original Song, whoop that trick. You also have Hustle and Flow. It's hard out here for a pimp. I still love Mike Jones Still Tipping, and I also like T.I.'s I'm a King remix on this soundtrack. This also has a lot of stuff that throws back to Motown as well. You have songs from Willie Hutch. You have songs from Jason Freeman, from Al Green. So it's not just from Buddy Guy. So you just don't only have the current rap songs, but you also have old school blues songs that make it along the soundtrack and just shows a history of Mississippi. And I think this is a great encompassing soundtrack of Mississippi that shows the past, the present, and the potential future. So I'm giving my shot for Hustle and Flow.
Zach, what do you say about Hustle and Flow?
I've never seen the movie, and the only thing I know about it is the 3-6 Mafia song that won the Oscar. So I'm gonna give it a no.
Yeah, I'm also in the same boat. I think I've seen the movie once, but the only song I remember is "It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp." So yeah, it's also going to be a no for me.
Give it a
shot.
Zach, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
Between two. You know what? I'm gonna go a little different. I'm gonna go with Moulin Rouge. I think, like, you have the feel of Paris with some of the songs, but you also have the great duet with Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman and Come What May. You have some of the other ones like Voulez-Vous. So I'm gonna throw my shot out there for Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, I love the soundtrack to Moulin Rouge. I think it's great, especially with how they reworked some of these songs to suit the time period and stuff. Like, it was Baz Luhrmann is great with taking like well-known songs and like mixing it up so they'll fit in with whatever song they're doing. With some exceptions, like Crazy in Love and Great Gatsby didn't really work that well, but that's a story for another time. But Steve, but yeah, it's going to be a yes for me for Moulin Rouge. But Steve, what do you say about Moulin Rouge?
Probably unpopular opinion. I'm not a big fan of Moulin Rouge, so I would have said no.
But with that, Moulin Rouge is still going to make the list. And it comes back to me, and you know, I'm going to try and I'm going to bring this up because I wouldn't forgive myself if I don't bring up one of these movies and then none of them make it on. The only reason I didn't bring it up earlier is I was trying to think of which one to actually bring up for this. But I'm going to bring up Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, because I think the score in all the Lord of the Rings movies, I think, is epic. But I think Return of the King, they take it to a new level. And yeah, and it's just one of those ones. And even with the like the song from Billy Boyd, the Steward at Gondor, as well as like they would reuse Into the Rest for Annie Lennox in here as well. And yeah, I just think it's just a fantastic score, all in all, and I think at least one of these movies deserves to be here. Steve, what do you say about Lord of the Rings: Return of the King?
This movie was entrenched in my soul as I was cleaning the movie theaters in the winter of 2003. So every time we had to clean up after Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, we would hear that Annie Lennox song over and over and over and over and over again. So just the fact that it kind of molded me in some sort of way and that it does have a great soundtrack. Yes, I will say yes.
And Zach, what do you say about Lord of the Rings: Return of the King?
I will also say yes. If you want, this is another one that when you talk about like soundtracks, the epicness of it, and I really enjoy Into the West by Annie Lennox. I didn't hear it as much as Steve did, but I really enjoy it, so it's a yes from me.
That Lord of the Rings is going to make the list. But yeah, I mean, realistically, if someone brought up a different Lord of the Rings movie, I would have still suggested it regardless because, and I was sick of the Enya song at the end of Fellowship of the Ring. I'll just say that. But Steve, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
So I brought up a rap album. I'm gonna bring up another rap album. Gonna give my luck, guys. 8 Mile, man. 8 Mile. This was all right. So this was a year. This was a year in high school where I had a lot of flavors. I liked pop. I liked rock. I liked hip hop. One of my hip hop not phases, but one of my love from hip hop comes from the 8 Mile soundtrack. The movie. Movie itself is generic and whatever, but the soundtrack. If you're talking about going back to like we get old school 90s art, some 90s R&B, a little classic rock in there too. You get a little bit of Sweet Home Alabama, Leonard Skinner. You get that a little there. You get Shimmy Shimmy Yeah from Old Dirty Bastard. You have This Is How We Do It from Montel Jordan. You have Get Money from Lil' Kim. Not only that, but you also have new songs from 50 Cent. You have new songs from two new songs from Eminem, 8 Mile, and Lose Yourself. Lose Yourself being the first rap song to win the Oscar for Best Original Song. I mean, I literally could go on and on for this also has Method Man, this has Redman, this has I'm pretty sure some of the Wu-Tang Clan are in here too as well. But like, I really enjoy the soundtrack. I bought this soundtrack for the fact that it's a banger. And yeah, man, I'm hoping my best. Let's see what happens. 8 Mile.
Zach, what do you say about 8 Mile?
Okay, so I'm going to go against what I usually do here. I haven't seen the movie yet, but Steve kind of sold me on this soundtrack, and now I now want to listen to it. The only song I knew was Lose Yourself, but I feel like you kind of brought up we kind of need multiple genres in this soundtrack top 12, so I'm going to say give it a slight yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, it didn't really matter because I would have suggested regardless because I love 8 Mile and I think I think the soundtrack is just incredible.
Fantastic. Great, amazing.
Yeah.
Life changing for some, maybe.
Not so much life changing for me. I've
a little bit.
I mean, there's one of those ones like there's like I probably on the soundtrack I probably listen to Lose Yourself the most. I don't really listen to a lot of the other songs, but I think the sound especially with the movie, I think the soundtrack works for 8 Mile, and I think it's fantastic. So 8 Mile is going to get my vote here, and it's going to make the list.
I think we have one spot left.
All right. Yeah, we've got one spot left. And Zach, what movie are you going to bring up?
Okay, so I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to shoot my shot, and I feel like this soundtrack definitely plays a role in the movie, especially like scene transitions, and it kind of takes a life of its own. I'm going to bring up Slumdog Millionaire. I want to see how it goes, especially like Jai-Ho at the end, but all the score that you get in between with the flashbacks and all that. So, Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah, Slumdog Millionaire, I think is great. I don't remember the score that much, and the only song I do remember is Jai-Ho at the end. And it's one of those ones that doesn't. So yeah, like was just looking at the songs and stuff, like a lot of it, I like outside of the like Jai-Ho and that, I don't remember any of the outscore of that. So I'm going to say no here, just because I think there's at least one move that hasn't been mentioned at all, and that should be here. But yeah, Steve, what do you say about Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah, besides Jai-Ho, I don't remember much about the soundtrack. I mean, the movie's pretty incredible, but I don't remember much about the soundtrack, so I'm going to have to say no as well.
That's fine.
But with that, it's on to me, and I'm going to bring up the movie that I think, like that comes up a lot when you talk about movie soundtracks in general, and that is Almost Famous. There's you've got like the Simon and Garfunkel's America, you've got the Who's song Sparks there, you've got Beach Boys, you've got Stillwater, which is a song from the movie, you got Allman Brothers Band, you got Lynyrd Skynyrd, got a lot of these big like rock bands, you got Tiny Dancer from Elton John, you've got a David Bowie song on there, and I think the soundtrack slaps, as you young kids say, and yeah, and I think this is one of those ones that I think if it's not on this list, people will be going at us in the comments. But Steve, what do you say about Almost Famous?
I can't lie. I mean, you're right that they will throttle us. I mean, not physically. I'm sure with words and hurtful feelings. I'm sure a strongly worded email will be written to us via Facebook Messenger. But no, as a fan of classic rock, I can't deny that fact that Almost Famous has to be on here. It has to be on here. Now, I'm not as huge of a fan as a lot of people are Almost Famous of the movie and the soundtrack, but the fact that I think Tiny Dancer wasn't a known song of Elton John until this movie came out and we had that scene on the bus and everybody was singing it. So I think the fact that it kind of gave Elton John a little bit of a resurgence in terms of that song, and the fact that it has a Led Zeppelin. I mean, we have Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child, so many other, either you could say David Bowie, Black Sabbath, so many classic songs are mentioned, so many classic artists are featured on here. Definitely should be on here for sure. Almost Famous.
And Zach, what do you say about Almost Famous?
I mean, I kind of agree with you. If Almost Famous is not on here, then what is this list? Also, how could I not put a soundtrack for a top 5 all-time movie on the list? So it's a yes from me.
Yeah, I knew you liked this movie. I'm surprised you didn't bring it up early.
Yeah, I mean, I was also possibly going to bring up Big Fish because that's another one that I really like. But
that's fair. But if that closes off the list, But I'm going to go around and do some honorable mentions. Steve, is there any movies that you would have brought up?
Yeah, there's a few I would like to mention. I would have brought up Charlie's Angels. That has a really good soundtrack as well. I like Charlie's Angels. The Punisher, Spider-Man, Napoleon Dynamite, and Garden State.
Zach, what are some honorable mentions? That you had?
Yeah, I would have the ones that I had on my list: Transformers, High School Musical 3 senior year, Glory Road, Mamma Mia, and The Polar Express.
What?
For some reason, I'm pretty sure High School Musical 3 was actually in the 2010s.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I think so.
No,
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was 2008.
Oh, that close.
They were that close together. I thought for some reason there was a bit of a gap between 2 and 3, but for me, some of the honorable mentions I had High Fidelity, which is another music centric movie. I had School of Rock, which once again has a lot of classic rock there.
Rock.
Yeah, and I also had Departed, Royal Tenenbaums, and Catch Me If You Can. Just because I think they are great, but there are also ones I wouldn't be too surprised they didn't come up. But with that, it's time to rank what we've got here. Just to recap what we've got on this list. We've got Almost Famous, we've got 8 Mile, we've got Return of the King, we've got Moulin Rouge, we've got Shrek, Hairspray, Across the Universe, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of Black Pearl, Kill Bill Volume 1, Walk the Line, Princess of the Frog, and American Pie 2. And actually, some that came up in the comments, Brian brought up Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. And he also brought up Shrek 2. We do have one of the Shreks in here.
Yeah.
I was definitely I was tossing it between them. But Steve, what soundtrack do you have at number 12?
Princess and the Frog.
Zach, what do you have for number 12?
American Pie 2.
And I also have American Pie 2.
Fair enough. At least it's on the list.
Like, just have to quick write down the. I forgot to actually set up the banners. But Zach, what do you have for 11?
Just because I haven't seen it, 8 Mile.
I've got Kill Bill Volume 1. Steve.
Princess and the Frog.
So we've got a three-way tie. We've got Kill Bill Volume 1, we've got 8 Mile, we've got Princess and the Frog. I'm going to go to the chat. Which of those three do you think should be at number 11 on the 2000s soundtrack?
It's definitely not going to be Princess and the Frog because it's Brian.
Well,
Oh, wow.
Leo got it first.
Whoa. Upset. Okay.
And Brian would have gone
Look, right behind him. I knew it was going to be right behind him, too. Like,
yeah.
All right. All right, give me a second because I got to decide now because now let's see. All right. Because it's going to be three-way tie anyway. All right, got it.
But,
all right.
I'm sticking with Kill Bill Volume 1. Steve, what do you have for 10?
8 Mile.
And Zach?
8 Mile.
8 Mile is going to be at 10. But Steve, what do you have for number 9?
Moulin Rouge.
Zach, what do you have for number 9?
I mean, I haven't finished it, but it's going to be Across the Universe.
I'm going Kill Bill Volume 1. But so we've got three-way tie. We've got Kill Bill Volume 1, Across the Universe, and Moulin Rouge. The first comment I see will decide on what ends up. And and Leo got him first and went Gilbert.
Son of a bitch.
Zach, what do you have for number 8?
Across the Universe.
I went Moulin Rouge. Steve.
Moulin Rouge.
But that Moulin Rouge is going to be at 8. Move on to 7.
Wait a second.
But I've got Hairspray. Steve, what do you have for 7?
Hairspray.
And Zach?
Across the Universe. It's funny, I was considering putting Hairspray too. That was going to be my next one, so...
Just to recap what we've got left, we've got Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, we've got Walk the Line, we got Shrek, we got Across the Universe, we got Almost Famous, and we got Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Zach, what do you have for 6?
Across the Universe.
I've got Curse of the Black Pearl. Steve.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
So we got three-way tie. We got Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. We got Curse of the Black Pearl, and we got Across the Universe. The first comment I see will decide on what ends up at 6. And once again, this is
Leo.
But
just kidding, Leo.
At this point, I'm pretty sure Steve's paid off Brian to just say what he says. It's a joke. I'm not saying you have. And I don't know why I erased my board, but I'm sticking with Curse of the Black Pearl.
Pirates.
And Zach.
Shrek.
But it is going to be Curse of the Black Pearl. Move on to number 4. But Steve, what do you have for number 4?
Lord of the Ring.
Zach, what do you have for number 4?
Shrek.
Got another 3-way tie because I put Almost Famous. So Almost Famous, Shrek, and Lord of the Rings. The first comment I see will decide on what ends up at. Damn it, Brian. This time Brian actually did get in first.
Yeah, baby.
Three very interesting movies for top 3.
Yeah. Got Walk the Line, Shrek, and Almost Famous. But Zach, what do you have for number 3?
Shrek.
I got Almost Famous. Steve.
Shrek.
But now, instead of voting for number 2, we're going straight to number 1, and it's between Walk the Line and Almost Famous. I think I know which way it's probably going to go, but we'll see. But for me, out of the two, number one is Walk the Line. Steve.
Number one's Almost Famous.
And Zach.
Almost Famous.
With that, our top 12 movie soundtracks of the 2000s. At number 12, we've got American Pie 2. At 11, we've got The Princess and the Frog. At 10, we got 8 Mile. At 9, we got Cuba Volume 1. At 8, we got Moulin Rouge. At 7, we got Hairspray. At 6, we got Across the Universe. At 5, we got Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. At 4, we got Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. At 3, we got Shrek. At 2, we got Walk the Line. At 1, we got Almost Famous. But with that is the end of ranking for this week. Next week we'll be back on Sunday, and it's going to be the director ranking of Paul Thomas Anderson. So it should be a really interesting ranking. But Steve, where can people find you online?
They can find me online everywhere in between at SMS85 on Instagram, Mesa Media One on Facebook, on my real name. You can check my stuff out there. You can check out Mesa Media One on YouTube. I got some cool stuff. I'm actually working on an Ethan Hawke tribute reel because he will be coming down here November 2nd, which is my birthday, for the Miami Film Festival Gems Festival. So I'm working on a reel for that. And what else? Also, I'm going to be in Philadelphia. I'm going to be in Philadelphia from October 3rd to October 5th for Animate Philadelphia. I will be the roaming floor camera for FSCW Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling. Aside from that, I'm also actually looking forward to Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie on Wednesday. I'm catching it at the Real IMAX, so I'm excited for that one.
Zach, where can people find you online?
First Letterboxd and YouTube at MovieFanZ, but also you can find me doing trivia at Multiplex and TBNT. You can find me on Movie Hero Network and the Pierce Co. Just a lot of different places.
And you can find me on Tape Free Productions, hosting Rankin every week. Next week we'll be having Paul Thomas Anderson's ranking, so that should be a lot of fun. And you can also find me popping up here and there on other channels. I host Spare from the Past on my own personal channel. The next episode will be on WrestleMania 12. I've just been really busy, so I haven't had a chance to sort of lock in a guest or something yet. But there's a lot of people that I know like wrestling. It's more of a case of when can I find time to actually watch it? That's the only reason I've been delaying that. But you can also and I pop up here and there on Movie Network, Multiplex, and other places. Also, tomorrow is the finale of Virtual Survivor that I was a part of, and so we'll be doing the finale will be on, and then straight after will be the live reaction, so you can come see me talk about on things that I wish I did do, things that I think could have gone better. But there'll be that and everything all that when we talk about that. So yeah, but until next time, that is the end of it for this time, and we'll see you next time.
Small chance of success. What are we waiting for?